If you have realized that this is an extraordinary time, according to patterns we are able to map across history, astrology, and the occult, you'd be right. This is Astronosis. Welcome. When we zoom in on astrology, convergence becomes obvious and shows how we are moving from confusion to activation to acceleration. And this is because astrology reasonably maps standout periods in time and shows how this period is unlike any other in our recorded history. Let's start with what we know. We've never had this level of connectivity before, and the fact is, the period that we're in has the hallmarks of the age of Aquarius. And while it is debated as to when that period actually starts or started, it's undeniable that in the last 100 years, we've seen the development of technology probably not imaginable by most of our great-great-grandparents. Now, when you pair that with the multiple major transits stacking at one time across the last few years into this year and beyond, what you get is the convergence of major cycles with remarkable conditions. Let's look at that stack of transits, shall we? We have Pluto in Aquarius, Uranus in Gemini, Neptune in Aries, Saturn in Aries, and the transits that we're shifting or have shifted out of, Neptune in Pisces, Saturn in Pisces, and Uranus just left Taurus. It's not a normal stack. It's not something we see often because these longer cycles don't usually line up like this. In fact, the closest comparable windows we would have for this period in time would be the late 1700s, the time of the French Revolution and American Revolution. What actually sets this time apart, though, is the era we are in. Welcome to the age of information, where everything is visible and moving at speed. So, if you felt like the last few years and this year has been intense and or transformational and or moving fast, those are the clues astrology provides to let you know there is a map in place that you can use to navigate the conditions. And this map is worthwhile, especially when we look at what shifts in those specific conditions and what is likely to shift based on old patterns, as well as how to work with that map consciously. And this is not just at an individual level, this is at a collective level. We're talking about Pluto in Aquarius, a 20-year cycle where systems are exposed, power is exposed, and control shifts to the collective. And I just want you to pause on that for a moment, because it's easy to feel jaded when you look around. So much is shifting right now, but when you come back to the patterns and you look at the astrology and you look at the convergence of astrology, religion, philosophy, traditions, you can then start to make sense of things and how actually this period, no matter how it seems right now, when engaged with consciously, can be used to shape the vision of the collective in a powerful and meaningful way. But what's got to be determined is what that vision is, and that starts at an individual level. It starts with you and I. A question you might have is, what can I expect from this period? For answers, let's look at the key players and their influence. Pluto in Aquarius, as I said earlier, this is about systems and power being exposed, which over time enables control to shift back to the collective. Overlapping this, we've had Uranus in Taurus, and this hit what people rely on: money, food, stability. On top of this, we had Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. This is where things may have felt unclear, where belief and illusion might have blurred. And this ties into identity, which Saturn and Neptune in Aries is now testing to help you determine what it is you believe about yourself to be true. You might have found the last few years to be a very revealing time, and now identity is front and center and being checked through action. Ideological movements are becoming real-world forces, illusion is breaking when action is taken, and people are embodying what they believe. With Saturn firmly anchoring in Aries, you'll start to see more decisions being made. Your individual decisions will affect collective decisions. You'll start to see structure changing shape. With Neptune in Aries, you'll also see belief fully externalized, which is why identity and deciding who you are is so important. And in this time frame, across the second half of 2026 and into 2027, Uranus is in Gemini, so expect an information acceleration spike. What this amounts to is that we have exited a confusion phase and are in an activation phase now and preparing for an acceleration phase, likely once Uranus is settled in Gemini. Things will be moving fast, but beginning to make a lot more sense. Into next year, you'll find that there is clearer direction with people committing to positions, but we are still at the beginning of the Pluto and Aquarius cycle, and things are really only just becoming visible. And right now, you have the ignition point. Where instability sits is showing. It isn't the full transformation, but a lot will shift and move in the coming 18 years. For anybody that has been looking for signs that things were going to change, look to see what's happening this year. But do recognize that it is an activation phase of a new cycle and that it is exciting. The old system is up for review and restructure. As we realize systems don't just hold themselves in place, we hold them in place through what we believe and what we do. In the following video, I'll unpack a pattern that shows how we have built our individual and collective identity on beliefs that date back thousands of years, and how divine language became tied to power.